Saturday showdown. D plus Kia versus BNK Fear X.
Yeah, that's fair.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. I'm hoping for a bit more from BNK Fear X. I think they had a competitive game one. It was winnable. It was very winnable, but just to put it plainly, they got outplayed. HLE played better execution of the fights, making utilization of all their tools, and BNK Fear X leaving something to be desired. So, gonna fly into the second draft. This time it's BNK Fear X taking first pick. It was HLE who had that last time. And we're seeing a lot of similar champs being banned out here. Ezreal and Jarvan were the two remaining bans in this situation. See if the teams opt to go in a similar direction or change it up a little bit. Obviously that Karma Rumble wheel left open, which you often see banned, now taken away by Fearless.
Yeah, Jarvan, Ezreal, as you mentioned, we're looking at if those will be taken away, but as first pick, maybe you want to leave some up so you can get something.
I think for BNK Fear X, I wouldn't ban either of them. They banned the Ziggs instead, which is a pick we know Gumyushi's played a good amount. And now, if BNK Fear X ban neither Jarvan or Ezreal, Ezreal feels like the go-to pick, because obviously Jarvan limited effectiveness against a character who can just jump outside your Cataclysm so frequently. So I think in my mind, that makes a lot of sense. And will HLE opt to ban the Ezreal, or will they go in a different direction here? They go for the Jarvan. So banning that away, not wanting to give that over to BNK Fear X. Ezreal, obviously a very high priority pick, but instead going for the Lucian. Not as concerned about Ezreal with Jarvan off the cards. Lucian Milio, something that was passed over in the last draft. Are we going to see Ashe Seraphine into it?
Uma seems like he's asking in depth about what bluffing wants to do. But no, we're not going to see Vel'Koz. But we could definitely see what he first hovered. But it's just going to be Ashe.
So many hovers just to get Ashe Seraphine coming through.
Seen this coming.
Yeah. But will they pick the Seraphine now? Will they save it for 3 and pick something different in this situation? The big junglers that pair up with Ashe Seraphine really well are the Xin Zhao and the Pantheon, which are already taken off the cards. But having a jungler alongside them who can kind of dive in and set up the Encore can go a long way, having a bruiser jungler who can deliver that. But they will just secure the Ashe Seraphine now, and I think that makes sense from the perspective of flexibility. Because if you go a jungler on 2, then you're locked into Seraphine on 3, and you can't match whatever BNK Fear X come out with now. They obviously go Lucian Milio, no surprise there. What will they go for here on 3? Knowing it can be matched, it's going to be TF here for Vikla. The extended range for the Milio does actually help when you're trying to set up plays. And also, if you're looking to punish this Ashe Seraphine, you have that global ultimate to put pressure down there. Got a good amount of these global abilities removed. But this feels like Zeka saying, well, I'm not going to let you roam because I'm just going to bully you out of the lane. Mel, obviously, a lot of damage early, but also the stun card, not really usable in that matchup as long as the rebuttal's available. And if you stun card into it, get stunned yourself, and then get rooted and bursted, you will just die. That is just never... It's not like you can throw it, get the rebuttal, and then use it again when the cooldown's available. If you throw it into the rebuttal once, you're going to have a bad time.
Yeah. Better hope the Milio's there, I guess, but still going to have a bad time, you would imagine. That does mean that there's no jungle selected here for Homa Life Esports. Might see some of those other ones targeted, like the Pantheon or other front liners as the Nocturne gets banned.
Here's the thing, HLE have first prio choice over junglers. I like the Nocturne ban because paired up with the TF, that double global pressure, so difficult for the Ashe Seraphine to deal with, and it very much feels like BNK Fear X's game plan will be to lean towards bot in this situation. And I think because HLE have first pick after the bans, they're fine with a bunch of jungle bans coming through because they're going to get the first choice out of what's left. Neferi comes through as a ban. This is another pick. Honestly, if they got Neferi, that would just be nightmare fuel for TF. Mel, Neferi are possibly the two most unenjoyable champions to play TF into.
Yeah.
Because we've seen it before where the Neferi just waits for the gold card to be thrown and then jumps in the air and dives on you. It's not a fun time. So I think that's a very respectable ban that comes through there. Wukong going to come through, so really trimming the pool of junglers right now. Kanavi clearly happy. There's still like Pantheon available as an option. There's still Lee Sin. There's still plenty of picks. Skarner even, we've seen rising up in popularity. There's a lot of options, but the meta junglers we see so often have really been trimmed out in this pick ban phase.
Yeah, definitely trying to take out as many as possible.
What's a little surprising to me is that they're putting so much focus on these jungle bans. HLE has last pick. And we know Zeus is a player who loves to capitalize on counterpick and really twist the knife. So it's just a little surprising to me that BNK FearX kind of handshook on these jungle bans in this situation. Because Kanavi gets first choice now of what's left available, and he's just going to go for the Pantheon, which you can match the global element of the TF. Obviously, a global jungle is different to a global mid, but it means you can be there. And okay.
Okay.
It is Pantheon. Get a lot of hovers baiting us in there. But yeah, Pantheon able just to turn up at a moment's notice and keep some safety for your bot lane. Obviously, jungler can just be there regardless, so not a little bit different from a mid with a global ultimate. And now it's kind of moved down the totem pole a good bit. Trundle looking to be potentially the option, but not going to decide on that now. Just going for the Scion blind here, which I think is probably as good as it can get in terms of blinds for BNK FearX. We've seen Scion be pretty reliable, but this feels like a pretty low damage composition so far that BNK FearX have on display.
I thought they would just pick Jace, you know? Even though we're not huge fans, even though there's a Mel on the opposite side.
It's so risky because
you just... Where's your damage?
This is this is an extremely low damage composition.
Especially with the Trundle. I mean, you don't even get damage from the jungle.
This is very limited kill pressure, and if Lucian is behind, I don't see BNK FearX winning this. All eggs on the Lucian basket. And the problem is now, is you need to divert your attention towards the bot lane. That's a guarantee. But Zeus is not going to let you have a fun time in the top lane. You've given him counterpick. He's weighing up his options. The Vayne was hovered, but in the end, going to go with the Ambessa. Now, Ambessa did actually get buffed on this patch. More max health damage on the Q. You're into a Scion. That's pretty good. Now, it is early damage. It scales up to the same amount, but that's definitely advantageous in the matchup. More healing on the ultimate. So, Ambessa with some buffs. Another Bruiser for you to kind of buff up with the Seraphine. And when you are a composition with limited damage, I cannot think of a more nightmarish pick than Ambessa. We've seen Ambessa just kind of shrug off even compositions with a lot of damage. But now, you don't really have that. And for BNK FearX, you need an early lead. You need early momentum. If you fall behind in this game, there's no Ryze Sivir who at 3-4 items are just going to be able to bail you out. The pressure on BNK FearX right now, if they want to take this to 3 games, I think if HLE manage to get control of this game and push the pace forward, they will just win.
Yeah, I can't really see them falling too far behind either. When you've got these matchups that they have. I mean, we'll see what happens in the bot lane. As we've been highlighting quite a lot, it's really going to come down to, does this Lucian get ahead? You know, how much can they get punished down on the bottom side if you're HLE? We'll have to see what happens as we hop into the Rift here for game number 2. All right, here we go, game number 2. This Raptor gonna find an angle here on a Kanavi at level 1, but just takes a bite and runs away.
Yeah, would not want to opt into the 2v2 against the Trundle and the Scion level 1. Not a fun time. They will just back away. Did manage to get the ward down though. Yeah, a lot of concerns around BNK FearX's win conditions. Taeyeon and Kellen need to have phenomenal game here if they want to come out ahead. And playing Lucian Emilio into Ashe Seraphine isn't the most fun matchup. We've definitely seen times before where it's come out ahead, and we've seen windows where you find those bursty trades and you're able to poke out these squishy targets on the other side. But for the most part, they just kind of outrange you and just harass you down.
Yeah. as we're seeing a little bit of that here. And Taeyeon is going to dash forward. Again, this Lucian, part of the reason why it is picked so often nowadays is just it does insane amounts of damage, especially with the Emilio. You are able to access that damage a lot more frequently.
Yeah, that was a really risky dash forward, but he's able to disengage and not get punished too heavily for it. I think the big losing situation here is if you get rooted after the slow, or maybe if a Pantheon decides to tower dive you at level 3. That might be a losing scenario.
This is quite a big wave, based on what we've seen. We're going to see the entirety of it now. As they're just going to go in onto Taeyeon. He does get rooted up here, takes a bunch of damage. Kanavi flashes away. They're not going to get the kill yet, though. As maybe they go for the follow-up dive, as the spear will miss.
That was so close. And Pantheon Spear, when you're low HP, does so much damage. Having to go through the barrier, as well as all the protection from the Emilio, makes it really difficult. So, not the easiest dive to pull off. Kanavi dipping out of that at the right time. The pressure's still there, and Taeyeon's fallen really far behind in terms of farm, but he didn't die. And I think that's a big factor here. That's a small victory, but it is a bit. Oh my god.
Vic was like, wow, this Mel character is pretty good into my character.
Yeah, this is kind of my concern, is if you want to get an early lead, prio lanes, very helpful. And you're not getting that middle bot. Sion, honestly, is pretty competitive with Mel early. I feel like Zeus is honestly doing better than you typically expect. Sion is one of the stronger tanks in the early levels, but mid and bot is just kind of going how you would expect. And then they also ganked bot lane, so it just really amplifies things. At least Raptor gets to steal the
what?
That camp.
Yeah. Some of the chickens over here.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe he can do something on a Zeka here, but again, with rebuttal available and a flash, I mean, he's going to respect it quite a lot and say, well, I just don't want to take any damage either.
It's the right call, flash early rather than flash late and potentially die anyway or be chunked out. Nice impact from Raptor, though, with the gank. That's one of the things with the bot lane, even though Taeyeon's fallen a good amount behind, he was already kind of behind before the gank, and him still keeping his flash after that dive is pretty impressive, and he won't be as vulnerable.
Yeah, maybe we just slow down a little bit from here. I wouldn't expect it too much, especially from BNK Fear X. I think you want to get Vic at level 6, and even if you don't get kills, you want to put pressure and allow Taeyeon to at least be in a position to carry this game. Because if he's just going even or falling behind, and then you head into the mid game, I just don't think they have enough tools, enough damage to really get anything going. Raptor says, those are my chickens. That's why they call me Raptor. But Kanavi's going to get in there and steal a bunch of the little chickens away. Here's a nice trade from Taeyeon. This is what you want to see, is getting in range. Going to see a barrier come out from Guma. This barrier just coming up now for Taeyeon. Flash on in. He wants that kill on a Guma. One auto, and he gets the kill! As Guma flashes after the fact and still goes down.
Well played by the bot lane of BNK Fear X. This was one of the things we needed to happen. And Taeyeon just kind of skating around a lot of the skill shots being thrown out by HLE there. Guma flashing late as well results in not only the kill still going over, but now doesn't have those summoners for protection. This was just really well played by Taeyeon. Dodges away from the root coming out for bluffing, dodging a lot of skill shots here, a lot of the damage from the Seraphine, and then waiting for the cooldowns to be back available. Pushes up here, flashes forward, and Guma just holds his flash for a little bit too long.
Got a lot of guys in that booth. And just one celebration. I think it's cause for very good celebration because Taeyeon was behind on farm and things were already looking a little bit iffy. But picks up a couple items, gets aggressive, and Guma and bluffing not quite able to handle the pressure just yet. See what happens at level 6. His Ash Seraphine definitely going to be strong, but you got Emilio for a potential cleanse, the culling.
That's the thing, is so often we see matchups into Ash Seraphine, no matter how the early lane goes, oh, they could... Backing away now. They say they could be in trouble, but no matter how the early levels go, the power spike at 6 is so big. Raptor's been found, but he's level 6.
Yeah, he's just going in on Aguma. That's the subjugate already. And a ton of damage goes to Aguma. No flash, obviously, used it in the last play. He's going to go down again. That's 2 kills already for Taeyun in this game.
You know, we so often think of the subjugate as a tank killer, but shredding those resistances on a squishy target as well is going to make them even squishier. And the burst that came out from Taeyun there just melted the Ashe. So a gank that there were signs that maybe it wouldn't work. The fact that Kanavi was there, the fact that, you know, the bot lane were pretty close to tower, but all it took was a pillar, a subjugate, and some damage from the Lucian, and that was enough with the Ashe having no flash. And now level 6 has been hit by Taeyun and Kellen.
Oh boy.
Oh, he's dead again.
Yeah, he's dead. I mean, Cullen comes out here. Guma just says, well, they probably backed, right? Nope, they're hiding on bush.
Didn't even call, he just held it. That's how dead he was. He was so extremely dead.
Yeah.
There was no way he was getting out. Gumishi ends up pushing up way too early. The pillar into the Mega Fire Kick from Kellen pretty good, but he's just slowed for so long, can't really get away. And then in the follow-up play, it's funny because obviously we talked earlier about bluffing hitting rank 1 in solo queue. This is the sort of stuff you see all the time in solo queue. I imagine bluffing probably did a plenty of this on his climb upwards. Found opportunities to get the jump on the enemy AD carry.
Gonna ult in is Zeus under the turret here against Clear. And he's not gonna get the kill just yet, but already a ton of damage done to the Scion. And it's really actually a pretty good position for him. Clear does have TP.
One of the big changes with the Ambassador.
Oh, this is a lot of damage. I mean, they don't even get to play the game. I mean, they've fallen so far behind. The lane is pushing away from them as well.
Yeah.
So, unless you're going to go for a dive, you can just keep it in this position.
It's really difficult. And we haven't seen Vikl have a chance to move yet, but this is sort of wave position that sets up for a potential TF ult down. Whether you can find a window to move for it is another question. But right now, the 2v2 pressure's enough. And you have those powerful ults for the Ashe Seraphine, but into the Milio. How powerful really are they? It's a 3-0 Lucian right now. There isn't a huge gold lead despite that. I think a big factor being Guma being a bit ahead in farm. But even that farm lead isn't super significant.
Zeka's definitely doing a good job of putting on the pressure, but Vikla's holding his own. He's only 10 CS down as the arrow's just going to sail wide. And again, as we both talked about, even if he does hit that, you know, Emilio's right there.
Well, the thing is,
ready to go.
Now you can go super aggressive because they only have the Seraphine ultimate, and you can just trade 1-for-1 with the Emilio ultimate.
As long as Kellen doesn't get burst down.
Yeah. Even then, though, you can ult a little early.
Yeah.
And you get the tenacity, like the reduced duration of tenacity that comes through afterward. So obviously you still get CC'd a bit, but it's massively reduced. And thanks to the pressure they've had in lane, Taeyun managing to overtake Gumishi in terms of farm as well.
Yeah, Guma at this point, I'd say he's just happy to farm under the turret. He's happy he's not getting dove.
One thing with the Ambassador is they buff the healing you get. So when you level your ultimate, you get armor penetration, percentage armor penetration. You also get a healing on your abilities, and they buffed that. That was the most significant factor. Is it's gone from 10% to 15%, which is a pretty massive change. At level 6, it's very early to get access to that. So 15% healing, Eclipse completed. This is not going to be a fun time for Clear.
Yeah, you just kind of sit there and absorb pressure, but it's kind of what we talked about in the lanes, which is theoretically you have mid lane winning pretty hard. Top lane can eventually win. And bot lane with the Ashe Seraphine should be in a better spot than this, but obviously things have gone awry. Is the culling already doing tons of damage? I mean, even if you don't get the kill, it doesn't matter. Kanavi at least is going to be here. He is shadowing his bot lane. But Raptor not going to go for any crazy dives, just has to show presence.
He's just now kind of playing babysitting duty, but it doesn't really allow them to contest properly. They're still being zoned off the tower a good amount. They can walk up here, but it just feels like there's this constant looming threat of a little bit of burst from Taeyun could explode bluffing, for example. And now they're going to have to go for a recall. Oh.
Oh, that's so
What
annoying.
a shot.
That is... Oh, man.
And now Kanavi has to think, oh, I have to be ready to move down again. He has ultimate, of course. But will he get there in time? It's not going to take long for bluffing to get exploded here. They're going with the TF as well.
Yeah, the TF's already here. I mean, TP is coming in, and so is the Pantheon, but they're already dead. They already got the 2 kills. And, I mean, now they're going to try to trade it back, but it's 4v2 technically if Raptor comes back over. And, yeah, I mean, I'm not even sure why they even came down here.
That's honestly best case scenario for BNK FearX is not only do you manage to get the kills, not only do you get out with all 4 members alive, but Kanavi burn ult and Zeka burn TP. You bring them down, they don't get the counterpunch, and it just feels like wasted time for the side of HLE there. A really well played dive by BNK FearX and getting a lot of value from the Milio because it wasn't just the initial removal of CC, but playing around the tenacity that meant everything ended up being shorter. We can see in the replay here. So they get the wave pushed in. They're coming in with the TF as well. Ends up being a pillar here. And the ult from Kellen comes through. The tenacity is being provided. So they can just walk away from the situation. Gumi gets exploded before even popping any summoners as well. Not sure it would have drastically changed the outcome, but I guess the silver lining is he still has those available. But right now, the gold lead isn't massive, but a lot of it's been offset by Zeus having a big gold lead. Until he joins fights, it's more severe than is actually indicated.
Yeah. Also, like, the gold here for BNK FearX is exactly where you want it. you want it on that Lucian. As Zeka, he's like, oh no, I guess I'm just dead. He has to flash away just to survive as the rest of the squad is here. And Raptor, he knows what to do. He's just standing bot. Like, what are you going to do when there's a Trundle here too?
This needed to be the focus point for this game, and HLE unfortunately haven't been able to execute on that. This Lucian being monster fed, all the concerns we had about damage, all the concerns we had about, hey, who's going to be putting down the DPS, that kind of goes on its head when the Lucian is this strong, when the Lucian is this fed. And on HLE's side, there is, you know, the concerns of the Ambessa later on that BNK FearX have to worry about. But for the time being, they have what they need to find momentum in this game. They're going to pick up the second dragon as well. It's going to be a Ocean Soul, which there's some champions here who definitely get some benefit from the Ocean Soul. Bulkier champions who are going to benefit from the healing, but not the best soul. And also, if I'm BNK FearX, I would really be hoping that on the back of this Lucian strength, on the back of the early bot lane pressure, you could have gotten something like an Infernal or a Hextech. Would have really amplified some of the weaknesses of your composition. Well, I guess mitigated the weaknesses.
Yeah. All right, looking for Guma again. This is just bully Guma time, I suppose. That's a really nice ult from bluffing, though. Going to keep them around and save Guma. Taeyun is pretty low, and he's going to go down to bluffing as well as they run straight into the Seraphine, and they get punished for it. Raptor also going to go down, and this time the dive goes very much awry.
Bluffing can't stop him. Use the double W to get over there. An overstep from BNK FearX is punished, and a lot of gold gone back into their favor. Now, Kumishi is 0-5-2. Not exactly where you want to be in this game.
Well, at least they have a lot of threats, right? And he can still throw an arrow.
That is very true.
So, don't necessarily need your Ashe to be, you know, giga-fed. Unlike the Lucian, who they definitely need to be giga-fed, as here's the replay.
A big factor here was Kellen was a little late on the ultimate. The ult comes through, and the ult from Kellen comes after, so they don't get that tenacity we were talking about. And it means Taeyun ends up super low. Gumishi doing a good job initially of getting away from the play and buying time that allows Kanavi to come in with a counterpunch. I think the Ashe is just struggling to survive, but you just have to try and live as much as possible and hope your teammates clean up in return. That's kind of how it's going right now.
Yeah. Love the timing on that ult from bluffing. Knows what he's got to do. I do think that dive was a bit overzealous from the side of BNK FearX. They really did not have much fear as they sent it underneath that turret. Especially when it's something like Trundle, which takes a while to actually output the damage. I mean, he's
also,
not giga-fed. If it's a Lee Sin, like maybe you can burst him down.
Also, how much gold are you really getting from killing Guma Yushi at this point?
Yeah,
let's be
like,
real.
Do you really need to kill him a 6th time? Or a 5th time in that case?
I think if you came out of game 1 and went, wow, Guma Yushi hard carried that game, how can we just kill him as many times as possible? That feels like the angle BNK FearX has taken. And generally, it's been pretty successful so far, but I still have some concerns. Zeus is just ramping up in this top lane matchup. He's almost a full level ahead now. I mean, is a full level ahead. Got a sizable farm lead. I think the game is still... Oh, yeah,
nice.
He's dead again.
Okay, well, this time the Seraphine isn't here. You can just go for a pretty simple dive this time around.
I didn't see, actually, I didn't catch how much gold, because Kellen got it, and he was, like, off screen, how much gold he actually got. I don't imagine it was a lot, but, hey, the game plan, kill Guma, they're doing it. They're doing it pretty well. Okay, let's see if we can spot how much gold Kellen actually got for this time around. There's just not a ton you can do as the Ashe in this situation. 229. Honestly,
that's
better than I
good.
expected. Better than I expected.
That's not half bad. Might as well just keep diving, I guess. I mean, let's just go back. Guma's like, do I even go into the lane?
Let's do it again.
Yeah. If you're Guma, especially if you're alone, it just feels like you're going to die on repeat. Like, there's really no recourse. I mean, you still have to farm the minions, even if you do die.
I kind of disagree. I think even if he's not alone, I think he's still...
Yeah, he's still at risk.
It feels like the play from HLE is Guma dies and we clean up because we counteract. But Guma still dies. We're struggling to see these situations where he doesn't die. 6 deaths. It has just kind of been a lot of focus on him. But as I said, my concern is still, like, Zeus on 2 items, if he joins this next fight, I can just see him just taking over and being an absolute monster. So, another thing, though, we have the Gluttonous Greaves from Taeyun. Every time he kills Guma, he's getting a new stack. So there's that, at least.
It's all according to plan. And Taeyun does have to be pretty sharp. I mean, the second the Mbessa joins the fight, like, you got to dodge her ult, but also you have to position pretty much perfectly and, you know, calculate how many dashes she has and stuff like that to make sure that you're not in danger of dying to her, because she will be the one big threat on the enemy team.
Calculate how many dashes he has? All of them.
Yes. Well, as Guma gonna absorb some pressure in mid. Raptor does have to flash away, and here's the TP in from Zeus as well as from Clear.
Okay, so Guma's chunked out now, but Zeus is here with that shield as well. He is a big cause for concern. Gonna have this 5v5 coming out.
You see the melee ult already gonna be thrown down as there's the Rift Heralds, and that one was put down by Kanavi, so just gonna essentially zone them away with this. Gonna just go for the knockup instead, and then the stun, looking to isolate Viklas. That ult is big from the side of Bluffing, gets on a 2 as Guma dies, but who cares? Because this is a massive win to the side of HLE. As they pick off 2, they're looking to take down Clear as well, and that they will. A big team fight win here for HLE.
Massive team fight win for HLE, and yes, Guma dies, but that was part of the plan. We said that, Brendan. We established that no matter what was going to happen, this game, Guma does just die, but they get the team fight win off the back of it. And I think a big thing was here, Kanavi goes in, stuns Taeyun, and we get a very early ult from Kellen. That now not being available, you look at Bluffing, he's instantly in his mind thinking, oh, I am now the major threat. And this ult here doesn't catch Raptor. Actually, does catch Raptor. Doesn't catch Vikla, but it catches Taeyun.
Yep.
And the ult follow-up from Zeus is there. And he just gets obliterated.
Yeah. Remember I said there's so many different threats that you have to dodge if you're Taeyun, and you can do it with, you know, being a Lucian that has flash, that has dashes, and Emilio, but was not able to flash away from that ult. I feel like Taeyun should have also known, like, hey, we don't have Emilio ults. What are the things that can threaten me? Well, that's the big one. And he got hit by it, and unfortunately, if that happens, you know, much like Vikla not going golden in the last game, might come back to bite him.
I think you should have held the melee ult in that situation because there wasn't a follow-up on the stun. But also, I think once you've used it, I think you just go, it's one dragon. It's an ocean dragon. Because now
Help BNK that.
it's a little scary approaching this. So now you don't get the dragon anyway, but you also lost that fight. Well, not ideal.
Yeah.
For BNK FearX. They still have the kill lead, but down 2,200 gold, which is basically just Zeus, if we're being honest.
Yeah. Zayn has a lead, but it's not insurmountable. I mean, he can definitely still die as well. They're just going to throw everything into clear and say, we can kill anything. And, you know, BNK FearX is the comp that has the one threat.
Yeah.
HLE Esports have many threats.
This time, Kellen holds his ultimate, Clay holds his ultimate. I think one of them should have used it to get him out of that CC chain. They don't. And HLE just feels like they've ramped up to the point they're so threatening with all this CC.
Yeah, and now what are you going to do? I mean, your Lucian is strong, but you're down your Sion, you don't have a front line. You're just being pushed in. The Baron buff was taken at 20 minutes, essentially, by HLE. They're getting a decent amount of value out of it already. Looks like they should get bottom turret on top of it all. Top lane has been a disaster since the beginning of the game, it feels like. Zeus did a lot of work up there to push that lane in.
And Zeus is going to probably go for Death's Dance next. At that point, is it just doomed? I don't know. We'll see. But, you know, the ult for the Milio or the ult for the Sion, I think either of those at some point would have just stopped that CC chain.
Yeah.
And they just kind of don't. End up losing another member, losing a lot of pressure around mid. And you can just see how HLE have sort of taken control of this side of the jungle, playing through both of these lanes. They are looking for clear now.
Yeah, I don't know if they can actually get him this time.
A little ambitious. They'll get some poke onto him. Look for the tower here. You see Knavi's pushing mid in the meantime. They could just get both of these in the towers right now.
Gonna throw an arrow as well in clear. I mean, eventually he just ults away, right? And the damage is pretty huge, but it's still Sion. I think he learned his lesson from the last time.
I think so. This time using the ult to disengage. No magic resist, by the way, on this Sion yet. So Zeka absolutely melts him.
And they don't kill him, but they push him away. You know, they're able to access the inhibitor, as now Vikla just trying to ult away from this one. He will be able to.
Yeah, a little early on the stun there from Knavi.
And Zeus just able to frontline. I mean, there's really no threat. Taeyeon's like, I'm just going to throw out a culling. I cleared the wave. I did it.
Oh, flank coming in from the Sion. No ultimate available. Can he corral them in for the rest of his team, or will he just get focused down?
Yeah, I mean, he's just trying to keep them around, it looks like. But he's very far ahead of the team. The gold card is going to land, as that is a very nice ult, but immediately gets canceled by the Melio. So not able to keep them around. And now Zek in a little bit of trouble. He's going to have to flash away. Knavi's just pushing top. So you can see that BNK FearX is trying to force this 5v4. As the flash on in, Guma says, I will not die for the 8th time. Thank you very much. And that's a good play from him. They're able to just push the top lane.
Yeah, they were kind of playing with fire a little bit there, but able to keep away from BNK FearX some of that critical skills. Zeka and Gumayushi burning their flashes to stay safe. But in the meantime, Knavi just pushing top lane, getting damage done to these structures. Bit of a weird scenario. And I think things are looking pretty dire for BNK FearX, but they got the flashes of both Zeka and Gumayushi. That is... I mean, okay, I'll be honest. They've had flash from Gumayushi like the entire game. So perhaps not something that's super high value, but Zeka's flash definitely relevant because he has 3 items. Rabadon's completed as well. If you look at the tanks on BNK FearX, Raptor has Merc Treads. That's the only MR on the frontliners. So Zeka is in prime time to just absolutely destroy BNK FearX here.
Yeah, they've really prepared for the Ambessa when he'd have nothing for the Mel. And it just feels like, you know, even if they do get Guma, who cares? I mean, that was true earlier on, but it's so true now. I mean, he's not the carry. Just throwing an arrow and baiting the enemy team if that's what you got to do. And just allow Zeus and Zeka to clean up here.
Sometimes we get Ashe comps that struggle a bit with damage because it's hard for the Ashe to get the damage off. But in this composition, they have so much damage across the rest of the composition. Kuma still has the utility of an Ashe pick available, the vision, the ultimate, even just the slows.
All right, gonna go into Vikla here. He doesn't have his flash, so he's just dead. Zeka doing huge amounts of boom boom damage.
Yeah, he is a little bit of a major threat right now in the mid lane. Or in any lane he decides to show up in. BNK4X do get the second tower of the game, but I don't think it's going to drastically change things.
Maybe a second Ocean Drake on the cards here for HLE Esports. Might as well pick it up. But 6,000 gold lead, and this one feels very much in their control. It's pretty difficult for the side of BNK4X to find and engage. It's mostly just gold card or Scion, and the gold card, if you're throwing it into Mel, you're not going to have a good time. And even the Pantheon can resist a bit of that.
It's a red buff, just let it go.
I don't think BNK4X know how to let things go, though. I don't feel like they've learned that.
They're the sort of team who holds onto a grudge.
They really do.
Yeah.
I mean, the amount of times I've seen them fight over, you know, one individual Drake when it's just not going to go well.
When she gets 2 quadra kills game 1 and they just refuse to let that go.
They took that personally.
Yeah.
And that led to their demise in game 2. I mean, they got Taeyun ahead, but it's just not enough.
DA now completed for Kanavi. He's going to make him... Okay, Death Stance completed for Zeus. This is concerning.
It is a concern, yes.
Yeah, especially because you're getting so much value from the armor. I mean, I was going to say there's a lot of physical damage in BNK4X. There's just not a lot of damage. So, by default, a lot of it's physical because it's mostly Lucian. But, you know, the Trundle and the Scion do a decent amount of physical.
And they try to gold card onto the Mbessa, and they just kill him. So, Vikla's like, I'm doing my job. I got the engage, guys. Wait, I'm dead. Why is my screen gray?
Yeah. Snap engage comes out from HLE. Instantly pick up Vikla. And now they don't have that vision aspect as well. So it's pretty easy Baron to go for. You can see bluffing, moving to control the area. Zeus continuing to be a problem.
Bluffing is helping. Holds him in place for Zeus to stack up that damage number, which is definitely going to be high in this game. Baron comes through. For the side of HLE, it's actually their second Baron of the game, as they got one at 20 minutes. And it really just feels like they can do no wrong in this game.
Feels like BNK4X have hit the limit. We'll hopefully see them go for final fight. Taeyun was just pushing that bot lane pretty deep. You're gonna have to try something now.
All right, they're gonna try to throw it into Zeus, who's just frontlining, and Zeka is going to flash away, but Kanavi's in the back line, getting a lot of aggro. He has GA, and he's gonna keep them around for Zeus now to once again stack up that damage number. As Clear eventually will go down, the flash comes through from Zeus, not even necessary, as Vikla gonna be stunned up, and he's really not enjoying his time in this game. I mean, the TF is just doing nothing here, as Taeyun will go down, and so will Vikla, as Kellen says, well, I tried. As that will be a clean ace to the side of HLE Esports, as they will take down the 2-0 here tonight up against BNK4X.
And you know, you said earlier, Guma did not want to die an 8th time, and he didn't. Yeah, I think I felt a little bit frustrated because there was some great moments. It just felt like there was more they could do, and I felt like some mistakes really holding them back. Bluffing, I think, really warmed up over the series.
The POM of the series. Might get some POM votes for bluffing, especially because I think bluffing, having more time to prep and prepare for the sub-in, and looked a lot better.
They seem being pretty vocal here towards the end of the game.
Yeah. I think you kind of have to if you're a support. I feel like there are very few supports that come into the LCK and don't really do a lot of talking.
I think they realize that you can only get a quadra. A lot of damage from the solo lane. It's not a huge surprise here. Taeyun tried his best, but I think too much weight on his shoulders to make this game happen.
Yeah. And that really just comes down to the comp. I think, you know, going for the Trundle, the Scion, Blind, it kind of got into a spot where you're just digging your own grave. And, you know, they tried to get Taeyeon into a position where he could solo 1v9, but I don't think many players can do that against a team of this caliber. As we are going to see, the player of the game will be Zeka, as now he is only 1 POM behind Chovy, as he picks up his 6th here.
It's always a treat when we get to see the Zeka Yone, and